Thank you for coming. Can you hear me? I am Cher Salvatore. I'm in the sales department here at Florida Presbyterian Homes. Susan Trevino is here. Where are you, Susan? Did she step out? There you are in the back. Susan Trevino is my partner here. If you would like to sign in over here, we would love that. We have a brochure for you. We're going to let you hear from many of our key team players here today, and we're going to go a little out of order. I want you to know what happens when you move here, if you should decide to move here. Who's going to be here to take care of you and help you and assist you and take the burden of home ownership off of your shoulders. So we're going to hear from Allison Hand. You've got the information about her and her photograph. She asked me why it wasn't larger. I think she thought it should be this big. We're thrilled to have her here, and she's going to tell you about the exercise program. When I think about Allison, I remember a lady who moved here years ago named Cynthia, and after she lived here for about 4 or 5 months, she came up to me and she said, "Guess what this is?" And I said, "5. What does that mean?" She said, "That's how many exercise classes I go to every week, thanks to Allison." And then she said, "What does this mean?" And I said, 0. And she said, "That's how many exercises I went to until I was 83 years old and moved here." So Allison's going to share with you a lot of information about how you can engage and be busy and be part of her program here. We're then going to hear from Rick Powers, our Director of Environmental. Right, Rick? He's in the back. And we all are very grateful that Rick accomplished a great feat for us today. The bus is running and the air condition is running too. So that will be part of our tour. If you need a restroom break, the restrooms are just across the hall. Our plan is to hear from Allison today. We'll hear from Rick today. We'll hear from Tasha Saka, our Associate Executive Director today. We were going to hear from Katie Gannon, our Director of Nursing, but she's sick. So we're going to pretend to ask her questions, and Tasha's going to answer. And Tasha will also speak with you a bit about our new affiliation with Westminster. This is brand new information, and we're just getting more information in the next couple of days, and Tasha will share that too. Then when all of those important people speak and they've gotten all their information out to you, then I'll tell you a little bit about what happens when and if you decide to come here. In the audience today, I see the person who has been on our waiting list the longest. Would you please stand up, Charlie Burdette? When I came here 10 years ago, the lady I work with, she said his mom lives here and he's on the waiting list. I said, "Oh, good, let's get him to move in." She goes, "Good luck with that. He's been on the waiting list for a couple of years." Well, we almost moved you in, didn't we, Charlie? We had the house for 10 minutes. Charlie is very particular. He knew where he wanted to live and what the address was and how close he wanted to be to everything. And his mother lived here too. So we found the perfect house. It was going to be vacant. It was close to everything. And I called and I called the executive director, John Hain, and I said, "Can we assign Charlie to this address?" And he said, "You bet. It's available. Get him assigned. It'll be great to get him moved in." Called Charlie. He was excited. We looked at the house. It was the perfect house. It was the perfect location. The next morning, John Hain called me and said, "We just got approval to add 20 beds to our skilled nursing area. The house is coming down." So, a pile of rubble. And the last time we tried to get Charlie to move in, a hurricane took his fence down and did some damage. So I have a lot of information about why Charlie hasn't moved here. But in the meantime, he's volunteered at many of our events and been very helpful. I almost had to fire him one time because he and my husband were trying to get tips at the ice cream social. So I try to keep them separated if my husband comes to volunteer. We also have in the audience a new member who's going to move in with us on January the 22nd. And why is she going to move in on January 22nd? Allison Braun, would you like to tell us why you're moving in on January 22nd? She will be 62 on that day, so we will have happy birthday, Allison, joining us. We're excited about that. And I also see the DeVitos here, and they have been on the waiting list for less than 10 years, but nearly 10 years, because we met years and years ago when they first came. So I'm going to let Allison speak with you and share her program and tell you how she can help you and answer your questions. And thank you for joining us. We also have our water and area over there. If you want to help yourself, please do. Susan? Yeah, it's not on. Yeah, I don't know if it's charged. Susan, can you check this? If not, I'll just. Blue light. Blue means go.
Blue light.
Red means stop. Blue means go.
So fancy. Test. Oh, you can hear me. So it looks like Cher's already given you that ginormous picture of me. I walked in and I saw that sitting there and I was just like, really? Could it be any bigger? I mean, I really thought it would be something like this. So I just got a good kick out of seeing that big picture of me. But I feel very blessed to be here as the wellness director. I've been here for 11 years. And like I said, I feel very blessed to be a part of our program and a part of our team. We have a really great team. But what I'm going to do today is just talk to you about what the wellness department, what we offer our residents. So I tell everybody, I spend 80% of my time doing things that are focused on our residents, and then the other 20% of my time I'm focusing on the employees, doing corporate wellness, and I'm going to get into that with you right now. So with wellness, we've tried to focus on the 8 dimensions of wellness, and I found a really good picture of what those 8 dimensions are. So I don't know if you can see that, but that's social, the occupational, environmental, intellectual, the spiritual, emotional, and physical, and financial. So most of the time when people think of wellness, they think of the physical, they think of exercise. And yes, exercise is important, and being physically active is important, but there's more to you, there's more to us than just the physical. And so we try to focus on all of those here in our community. So here are a few pictures, our wellness for residents. I was in a mad dash getting down here. I just taught Aquafit, and I thought, I hope I'm not going to be too sweaty. I have one gentleman that shows up every time for class and is always threatening to throw me in the pool. And I thought, boy, wouldn't that be great if I have to text Cher and say, well, I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm soaking wet. It would be Tony. Yes. So anyway, I'm here. I just got back from doing Aquafit. We provide a lot of different classes. Some of our classes are sitter-size type classes, but we also do a variety, and I'm going to show you a list. We just started cornhole, and we have a great group that meets for cornhole, and they actually met yesterday for our cornhole. So here are some of the classes that we do offer on our campus. We have Tai Chi. We have Aquafit. Our Aquafit class meets 3 times a week. We have yoga, Satya Life Yoga. We actually have them come into our community and teach that, and they have certified instructors that come and teach the yoga for us. We do a super seniors class, we have sitter size class, and then we have Wii Bowling. Our Wii Bowlers are right now in league play. They're competing with 75 other communities across the United States, and they do very well. We have 3 teams that compete in our Wii Bowling. And as you can see, they have their t-shirts that they wear. They actually, today is the day that they play. And they do league play for 7 weeks. And if they make the playoffs, which they usually do make the playoffs, then it'll be another 3 weeks. Recognition days and activity and events. So in the United States, there are recognition days that we try to do events and plan. Right now, September is National Falls Prevention Awareness Month. So last week, myself and our therapist, Lisa, we did a program, and she talked about what to do if you fall. And it was very well received. We had several of our residents attend the program and get good information. We tried to do several activities like that during the month of September. We have Active Aging Week, which is coming up in October. Senior Health and Fitness Day. This year we did a big cornhole tournament, and that was a lot of fun. Spring into Fitness and a holiday Maintain, Don't Gain. Those are 2 activity promotions where not only do we make that available for our residents, but we also make that available to our employees. The Spring into Fitness, we have our residents team up with employees, and they compete with one another, and that's a lot of fun. And people are very competitive, believe it or not. And then the last activity that we tried to do, or my department tries to do, is the Fall Western Barbecue. That's coming up October the 5th. We have live music. The Sofa Kings will be here performing. Jimbo's Barbecue caters, and we dress up. As you can see in the picture, we have pictures, and it's just a really nice evening, just a fellowship with everybody. So one of the things that we try to do is when we do programming, we try to make sure that it's evidence-based. So does anybody know what that means, evidence-based? So basically the programs that we provide, that they have sound research to back them up. So if we're going to spend the money on a program and bringing it here to our community, we want to make sure that it's going to deliver what it says it's going to deliver. So evidence-based programs do just that. So one of the programs that we have brought to the community is A Matter of Balance. So we brought that to our community back in 2014. They sent me off to the beautiful state of Maine, but it couldn't be in the summer. They send me in the winter. So I was there for training for about a week, and a great program brought that back, and we have been providing that to our residents, like I said, since 2014. The other program that we have is our Tai Chi for arthritis and falls prevention. It's our Tai Chi class that's ongoing, and it's a wonderful Tai Chi class, and again, it's an evidence-based class. And then the last class I wanted to let you know about, and I'm teaching it right now, it's our Brain Enrichment Program by Dr. Linda Sasser. You can go online, you can Google her, you can look it up. It's a great class. This is the 3rd class that I'm teaching. It's a 10-week class. We meet for about an hour and a half. The 2 prior classes didn't want it to end. And I'm like, well, we got to figure something out. So what do you want to do? And they said, well, maybe let's just meet once a month. So I'm like, okay. So now I call it the graduate class. And we get together once a month. we continue to go over the material that Dr. Sasser has given us. I reached out to her, and she sent me a bunch of material to just, I mean, she was ecstatic that our group wants to continue. And so I'm using that material that she sent. I also find studies and other things online, and so we've been having a really good time with that. So that's our other evidence-based program that we provide to our residents. So when you take your tour, you're going to see the MacArthur Center and the pool. The MacArthur Center, we're very blessed in the fact that it was renovated back in 2015. And at that time, our executive director and the members of the wellness committee wanted to update and improve the fitness equipment that was in the gym. So we took the wellness committee, or myself and our director of nursing at the time, we went to several facilities in Central Florida so that they could actually look at the equipment and they could sit on it and try it out. Because you and I know you can see stuff in books and pictures, but until you actually see it, get on it, feel it, it's a whole different story. So they decided that this was the equipment that they wanted to purchase. So we made the investment into this new equipment. It's wonderful equipment, and I encourage all of our residents to use it. Each piece cost us about $12,000, and we have about 15 pieces in the gym. So they have definitely invested into our residents and having this equipment in the gym. We just purchased a piece of fitness equipment, a new elliptical, and then I had an anonymous donor purchase something called a Pro Trainer, which works your arms and it works your legs, and that's going to be delivered this week. So we have a lot of nice equipment in our gym, and I think it's a testament in the fact that they want our residents to be healthy and continue to be active. That smart card system is wonderful. So let's say you get on the equipment and you don't remember how much weight you use. Say you're going to do a chest press. When you put your smart card in it, it'll set the machine up just for you. The number of reps, how much weight you're going to do, and the sets. So it's very nice. It's user-friendly. If it wasn't user-friendly, the residents back in 2015 would not have recommended this equipment for our community. So it's great equipment, and I encourage you to take a look at it when y'all go on your tour. We have a great group called our Resident Wellness Committee. There's about 10 of them. You can see some of them there in that picture. And basically, they're a blessing to me. I am one person trying to take care of our residents, trying to take care of our employees, and they do a lot, not only to help me, but they care and want to do what's best for our residents. So here's some of the things that they do. They meet monthly. They do take a month off in the summer. Some of them do have summer homes that they go back to, so they take 1 month off during the summer. But other than that, they're meeting once a month during the year. They provide input in the programming, so they give me suggestions about what they think the residents want. They also have their own budget. So for that barbecue that I was telling you that's coming up, they're going to help pay for some of that, barbecue. That comes out of my budget, but some of that they'll be paying for as well. They actually help me with events. So the cornhole that I was telling you that went on yesterday, some of them were there helping me facilitate that program, that event. And overall, they're just ambassadors for wellness. They encourage participation. They want us, they want you to be active, to be healthy, to be your best. And they believe in that. And like I said, it's a great group of about 10 of them. So my 20% of my time is focusing on our employees, helping to keep our employees healthy. I was able to work a couple of years for Johnson & Johnson in their health management division, doing corporate wellness. I don't know if y'all know, but it's a privately owned company. It's called Mosaic. So at that time, it was called Cargill. So we were contracted with Cargill to provide employee wellness to several locations here in Central Florida and Tampa. So the programming for employees, teach group exercises for the employees. During the summer, a lot of times they want to have, what kind of class do you think they want during the summer? Pool class. Yes, they want to be in the pool. So we'll do an aquafit class. We'll do step class. At one time, they wanted a boot camp class. So I taught a boot camp class. We do activity promotions, those combined promotions that we do with our residents, the Maintain, Don't Gain, that Spring into Fitness. Try to do quarterly departmental meetings, so if there's something special going on or something that I want to emphasize, like with our benefits, we have a great well-being program with our benefits that I want our employees to take advantage of. I'll go to the departments and talk about it. Rick's department is one of those departments. I like to go down there and see those guys and tell them about what's going on and what they can participate in. We also do promote community events. In December, we'll all be together doing our Alzheimer's walk, which is wonderful. This year, it's going to be at Bonnet Springs. And then, like I said, promoting our call to health. And then right now, I'm in the process of trying to build another employee wellness committee. So wellness and therapy. During my master's degree program, one of my big project at the end of the year was trying to determine how compliant people were when they graduated from therapy. Because a lot of times when that therapist, when they finish with you, they'll give you a home exercise program. And then I would call them and follow up with the patients, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. What do you think I found? They weren't doing it. So 3 months, yeah, maybe they're still doing it. By that 9-month mark, nobody was doing it. And it was disappointing because I was part of that therapy team and I wanted them to be doing it. And a lot of times they weren't doing that, right? So when I started here, that was one of the big things that I want to try to bridge and bring together was our therapy and wellness. So Lisa, who is our physical therapist, is wonderful. And what happens is when she finishes the program, she will recommend them over to me into wellness, and then I'll receive them, and then we go from there. So whether it's getting somebody started at the MacArthur Center, or using the pool, or coming to a group exercise class, because she'll tell them, and it's exactly what I tell them. If you don't keep it going, what's going to happen? You're going to lose it, right? If you don't use it, you lose it. So we have found that it's been very successful, she and I having this partnership, this relationship, making sure that as our residents finish up with her, that there's a smooth transition over to me into wellness. All right, now it's your turn. Do you have any questions? Anything? No? Yep. We did that, back in 2016, Rick? So we used to take a group and, we would do the Paint Your Heart Out, and they would find somebody who was deserving in the community to paint. And the last time I did it, I remember it was an older adult female that lived alone. And so we went and we painted her house. No, we did it here. Yeah, yep. It was here in Lakeland, yep. But it's great because, at the time, a few years ago, we did a lot of community service. And that was we also do Kid Pack. I don't know if y'all have heard Kid Pack, where you pack the meals for the kids. We had a group that was also going and helping with Kid Pack. So we really try to encourage our employees to do those community service. And it's nice when we do it as a team, because it fosters that camaraderie, which I think is really important. So good question.
Does it appear that Western School is taking over that they encourage these things too?
I don't know, and that'd be a good question, we can ask, once they come on board. Yep. Yes.
I'm assuming the employee wellness program is maybe a little more strenuous than what the...
Yeah, we don't do boot camp, no, for the residents. No boot camp for the residents, no. It's tailored to meet different needs. My classes are tailored to meet the needs of the different areas of living. Because I'm not just down in the MacArthur Center, I'm all over campus. In fact, I'm getting ready to go up to Porter McGrath now to teach a class. So it's based on the needs of the people, what's being delivered. So what I'm doing for the employees is not going to be the same kind of class I would do in Porter McGrath.
Okay, so if a resident is more physically fit,
Yes.
would be able to do those, could they?
Yes, they could. And I've had some request that. Yes. Any other good question? Any other questions? Well, enjoy your day. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions that you can think about, you can always reach out to Cher, and she can give you my phone number and email, and I'll be happy to answer those for you. And Rick, you're up.
Thank you, Allison. We're so lucky to have her. She personally teaches, I think, 5 classes a day, and in the meantime has 5 kids. So I asked Rick to give me his...
I need to have like a fund, like I'm trying, those boys, they're eating me out of house and home. So I need a little fun jar for, it's killing me.
I asked Rick to give me his favorite picture and a bio on himself, and he asked me if I would prefer he went to get the repaired bus with the air conditioning. So he's going to have to tell you about himself, and you're just going to have to take a good look at him. Thank you.
Good morning and welcome to Florida Presbyterian Homes. I'm Rick Powers. I'm the Director of Environmental Services, and that means I'm over maintenance, grounds, security, transportation, housekeeping, laundry, and I used to be in charge of the COVID screening desk, but we did away with that. But that's enough that I'm in charge of. But I've been here for 34 years. I've seen a lot of expansion. I've seen a lot of new houses, the health center being built, been part of every bit of it. And everything has been for the best. And so I'm really looking forward to the future of building more campus here. With that being said, the maintenance department consists of, we have about 20 employees. We have our own electrician, our own carpenter, painter, plumber, grounds, 2 grounds guys. Then my assistant, John Stanfield, who's going to drive the bus for you later today. He and I went and got her from Tampa yesterday. And then I have another assistant, which is Lisa. Lisa runs the office. She is the one that would take all your concerns when you move in. If there's anything that needs to be done, you'd call her and place a work order, and then we'd assign it to the proper person. So if it's plumbing, it'd go to the plumbing. Electrical, go to electrical. So we have, we also base it out on priorities. So if anything is an emergency, what I consider emergency is overflowing toilets, electrical lighting. I know lighting is very important. And just items like that, the guys work off of iPads, and so we could just shoot the work orders out to the guys. And we all travel on golf carts. With that being said, we have a do not enter list. So if you should call in a work order and you say, I want to be here for the maintenance man, we put you on the do not enter list. But we do, if it's an emergency and you say just go in, all our guys will go in. we have a standard, and we'd tell them, if you go into a residence unit, always leave a note. Let them know that you were there, because we do have pest control, which is every other month. We come into your unit, but if you do not want your house sprayed, we do not go in your house. We also have preventive maintenance, and the preventive maintenance, we have a whole checkoff guide, and we'd go into your house, we check the plumbing, we check the electrical, we check the painting, if it needs to be touched up and painted, air conditioning filter, and then from there, we have a whole list of items, like I said, and we also have nurse call system. Each house has a wireless nurse call system in it, and we also provide a pendant to each resident that moves in, and so we test those out also when we come to your house. And the wireless pendant is good for anywhere on the campus only though. So if you go to Walmart or Publix, if you push it, it's not going to work. It's only good for our campus only. And like I said, we test those out, and plus I get a month or a daily report on systems because everything is wireless, so it runs off batteries. And so I get a report, and we change batteries out. So, and it will come to your house and replace them. But the pendants are good for, like I said, anywhere on campus, and which is 50 acres. 48 to 50 acres, so it's good for anywhere around here. The grounds. You'll notice as you're touring today that our grounds is contracted out by Lawn. They come around, they do the mowing and trimming and spraying for weeds. We have a lot of residents that maintain their own yards, not the mowing or the trimming, but they have their flower beds. They have certain areas they'd like to maintain, or they don't want their bushes trimmed because it's going to flower in April or may flower in whatever, another month. But anything that, we have signs to put out there for the residents that's maintained by residents, but they maintain the entire campus. Security, we offer security. They work from 4 to 7:30 in the morning. So we have second shift and third shift security. They are here to lock and unlock doors at certain times, like all these buildings here, they get locked up at certain times, and then we unlock them at certain times also. They patrol the campus. We have diggy stations on campus. A diggy station is it's a baton, and then it has a little button on the wall, so we can check, and we plug it into the computer every morning. We can see where security's been. So if Mrs. Jones calls up and said, somebody was knocking on my door at 7:30 in the morning, if it's in one of these public buildings, we can see where security was at, and we have video cameras, and we can look to see who is at Mrs. Jones' unit. So we have cameras throughout the campus and those stations throughout the campus. So security is always patrolling, but they are here for emergencies also. So say if in the middle of the night that you notice that your toilet overflowed during the night, they can address that. Or if a smoke detector is beeping in the middle of the night, I mean, I don't know how many of you can sleep through a beeping smoke detector, but it's kind of a nuisance, so we can address that issue also in the middle of the night. Maintenance, they do a variety of things. It's just not emergencies. So we've had residents that call up and said, I need my wine bottle popped. Well, we'll uncork it for you. Or I need a box removed out of the attic. Because we don't want residents climbing up on ladders. We don't want them going up in the attics. We'll do that for you. But we do have an ancillary rate sheet, so that if you want a piece of furniture put together, we'll put it together for you, but there will be a minimal charge for that. So, but we do flipping mattresses to, you name it, hanging pictures, anything like that. And when you move in, we give you a sheet, and John, my assistant, will come by and see you, and he'll give you a sheet, and you just make up a list of things that needs to be addressed. When we go into a renovation, we try to make it as perfect as possible, but there might be a little thing as maybe a drip in the sink or something. We'll fix that for you, but he'll give you a sheet and you fill it out, and we'll get the guys up there that can address that for you. Transportation, we offer transportation throughout the campus, and that's for doctor's appointments and for shopping. So if you are not able to drive yourself to a doctor's appointment, we can do that for you. They just need to get on the schedule. There's a schedule that Lisa puts together, and she'll put you on the schedule for that day. Hurricane prep. That is a pain, isn't it? Prepping your house for a hurricane. We do that here for you. We go around, we set our guys out, and we will lower any patio furniture down or put it in the garage for you, store it for you into your unit. We lower down awnings. We just make sure that the trash can and recycle bins are put up so no debris gets picked up by the wind and moved. So we do all that for you. And then we put it back out for you after the hurricane has passed. But we do not board up windows. We do not tape glass. We do not do anything like that, but we will help prep your unit for you. There's a lot of residents that have bird feeders, bird baths. They have a lot of decorations in their yard, and we know it's time consuming, so we do our best, and we go through and start at one end of the campus and work our way to the other end, and we prep the campus. Pest control. Pest control is done the last Wednesday of the month. We go to every unit. We divide the campus in half. 1 month will be from Cressup to Highland Street, and then the other half is from Cressup down to the maintenance shop, Terrace Gardens. And Sherry can explain to you when she gives you the tour of how we divide the campus in half. But we do one half a month. But if you do have an issue in between the months, you call Lisa, and she'll put you on the list. And he's out here every Wednesday. Matter of fact, he's out here right now addressing a few issues that we might have. And they spray the inside, and then we have an outdoor company that sprays the outside, the outdoor company is Superior Spray Service, and they will do the outside, and they also do outdoor pest control. They do the eaves and soffits for hornets or mud daubers or anything like that, so it's all maintained also. So I know I've said a lot, and I put a lot out there. I mean, do you have any questions or anything for maintenance? Yes, Cher.
I have a question. Can you talk about what happens when someone graduates to assisted living and turns in the key to their home? What happens then, and how do we prepare the home for the new resident?
So when a resident moves from a house to an apartment, okay, well, I mean, they start with share. They pick their selections out. Whether the selections are the type of a flooring that you'd want, the paint color that you want. We hire a moving company because you're moving up to a different level of care. So we hire a moving company to pack you up and move you. And it generally it depends on if you're moving from a house to an apartment or from residential living to independent living. It might take a little bit longer because the units are bigger, but if they go from a house to assisted living, then those units flip probably about a week and a half because most of them have already been prepped. We go with vinyl plank flooring in all our assisted living units because it's easier to maintain for residents that have issues. So we do that, and then it's basically set up with a refrigerator and a microwave because all the meals are provided for down in the dining room for assisted living. So did I answer your question?
But talk about when Ryan Ellerby is engaged and we're preparing a home for a new resident.
Oh, okay. For a house.
Right.
Sure. Okay. Well, the selections are started with share. You pick out like I said, the flooring, whether it's vinyl plank or tile, the paint color, and then the blinds also, they're selected, whether you want vertical blinds or the Miami-style shutters. If you want, the Miami-style blinds, or if you want shutters, that's an upgrade, and that's picked out through share. Then we have our vendors come in, and they will, if the countertops, we evaluate the unit first, like I said, we'll evaluate it whether if it needs a new kitchen cabinets, or if it needs new plumbing fixtures, we evaluate it, and then we replace it as needed. That goes through the selections through share, and so if you want, I don't know, if you want to upgrade we've had residents upgrade their granite to quartz, that's an upgrade, and you just pay the difference for that. Or if you want to go from vinyl plank to carpeting, generally that's a wash. It's a, because vinyl plank is generally an upgrade for carpeting. But we've had residents that picked out ceramic tile throughout the whole house or engineered wood. That's considered an upgrade also. And generally houses, it depends on the extent of the renovation. Like right now we have 3 units, or actually 2 units, that are having the sunrooms taken off the house, and we're putting in a regular block room, because these sunrooms are designed as screened rooms, and residents don't, since I've been here, generally don't care for screened rooms. I think we only have a few screened rooms left out here because most residents want them conditioned with air conditioning. And so we're ripping those off on Waverly. Are you going down Waverly at all?
Yes, John will make
So you can point those 2 units out that we're doing. And then we have another resident that wants it's a nice kitchen. It has granite, solid wood cabinets. She wants them ripped out. She wants them replaced. And so that renovation is very extensive. We are having a contractor, Ryan Ellerby Construction. You might have seen him around town. But he is ripping out the cabinets, the granite countertops, the bathroom vanities, the walk-in shower. It's a big renovation. That renovation is going to take, I think, probably 4 months or so. It wouldn't surprise me if it takes a little bit longer. But most renovations that we're going to do, the 2 that we're doing the room additions on, is going to take a little bit longer because we have to have engineered trusses. We're going to have the block laid. It's a big job there, and then new air conditioning installed also. Any question about renovations? Yes, sir.
None about renovations. Security.
Yes, sir.
I think I heard you say something that you have security starting at 4:30 in the morning at some point.
The 4:30 p.m. till 7:30 in the morning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because maintenance is here during the day. Maintenance hours start at 7:30 in the morning and work till 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's the same way on Saturday and Sunday. And the reason we have 2 people on Sunday is because years past, when you hear that this is a Presbyterian community, Florida Presbyterian Homes, what do you guys do on Sundays? Yeah. So about 20 years ago, we had somebody break into a house, and they were not a church, and they caught the person breaking in. And so we added security on Sundays because of that.
Could you just update us on how much crime is in this area?
We meet with the police department quarterly. Our maintenance and security team does, and they brief us on what is happening in the neighborhood. And right now, the last meeting we had last quarter, the crime was very low around here, very low. And most of the crime rate, and the crime was, and we have our security team check on this, is residents leave their car doors unlocked. And so when we have security patrol on the property, we have them randomly go up, check resident car doors, and if they're unlocked, we put a note on the steering wheel, and we lock the door and shut it for them. And yes, sir?
Upgrades, do you inform the folks what the upgrade cost is going to be prior to the work starting?
Most definitely, most definitely. When you meet with Cher and you go over, say if you don't like your marble countertop, you want to go quartz, we'll get a bid for you on that. And then the contract, and you deal with Cher on whether you want to do it or not. The painting, there's really no upgrades on painting. We go with the flat Sherwin-Williams paint. We deal with that on all our projects because it's just so much easier for us to, we don't standardize the paint, but we do have, she has a list of paint colors. So that way it's easier for us to touch up later on. When you move in, the movers bang the walls, we could just touch it up. Yes, sir.
If you're in a house and then you need assisted living or whatever you need to change, is there a waiting period for doing that, or you kind of go to the head of the
It depends on the unit availability, because we do have different levels or different types of assisted living units. It really depends on what you like. And then share, like, if there is a waiting list, and I think Sherry can probably elaborate more on that than I can. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Rick. Rick mentioned Ryan Ellerby, and Ryan Ellerby Construction does a lot of the big work that we're doing here on the property to get the home ready. Today when we go on the bus, we're going to go to Allison's house. Allison is our birthday girl who's moving in on her 62nd birthday. We all know your age now. And you may be the youngest person here. And when I mentioned to Allison that Ryan Ellerby would be doing some work on her home, she said, I was his second grade teacher. So I took her picture, and I sent her picture to Ryan because we text and call each other all day, every day, and I said, do you know this lady? And he said, I'm not sure. And I said, she was your second grade teacher, and she said you were a very nice little boy, but you had terrible handwriting. And Ryan said, please tell her my handwriting has improved. So he's looking forward to seeing her. So when we do get on the bus, and when John O., Rick's assistant, comes to pick us up on the bus, which he just called me and said the air conditioning's working great. That's a really big deal. But now we're going to hear from Tasha Saka, our Associate Executive Director, and she's going to answer the questions we would have asked Katie Gannon, our Director of Nursing. Katie meets all of our residents before they move in, and then assists them as they need more assistance here in the community and helps them make the hard decisions. And Tasha will answer all those questions we had for Katie because Katie's off sick today. So we hope to schedule her again soon so you can meet her. She's a ton of fun and she's a pleasure to be with, but so is Tasha, so we'll let Tasha tell you a lot more about it. When Tasha's finished, we'll take a restroom break, we'll go down by the dining room, we'll catch the bus, and we will go around the whole property, 48 acres, and the only house that we can go in today that we're not doing major construction in is Allison's house, which isn't ready for her yet, but at least you'll see that one, and I'll explain a lot more about the homes. Yes?
I'm confused a little bit. You said Allison is moving in January? Yeah. That's not Allison here, there's two Allison. Oh, there's another Allison.
Yes. No, Allison with the 5 kids can't move in for several years. But Allison Braun is going to be 62 on January the 22nd, and she can move in.
But the house that we're going to go see is which one?
Is the house that Allison's going to move into on her birthday.
So it's vacant between now and January?
It's a duplex. We made a special plan to keep it available so we could show it today. We're showing it at another conference, and we've got another plan to show it. So we made special plans just for that one. In most cases, we move someone in as soon as we can get it finished and ready. So we'll talk more about that house when we go there, and I'll let Tasha give her presentation.
Hi there. Okay, I am going to be Katie first. When you guys get to meet her, she is an absolute pleasure and just a wonderful person in our community. Her heart is so big, and I know each and every one of you guys will really enjoy her, so I'll try to do her proud. That's what she sent me a message saying before I started. So Katie is our Director of Nursing, so she oversees the assisted living as well as the people in the community. So if you live in a house, let's say Miss Allison's in her house, she wakes up feeling a little scratchy throat. You can call Katie and she'll come out and check you out and make some recommendations and just see, oh, well, I think maybe if you just hydrate or have some vitamin C, or, oh, that looks pretty bad, you might want to go to see your doctor. So Katie can do that for you. In recent years, of course, we're dealing with COVID. So what we do on the campus right now is we will, if you've had an exposure or something, we will contact trace, but we don't do entire testing. So if you wake up and are feeling symptomatic, then we can give you a test. Let's see. So Katie has been with us since February of 2021. She actually started in admissions. So she was on the more rehab and long-term care side of things. And then I got really lucky and she joined my team for assisted living, which was probably the best thing to happen for us. We are so excited to have her. She used to work as a DON at a local facility for a year. It's no longer in the region, and she does have a history as a hospice nurse as well, and that's just what gives her such a big heart and incredible expertise. She is just really knowledgeable. We're lucky to have her. She's got on here to talk about the medical review process. So let's say that you talk to Cher, you want to move in, and you're getting ready with all your paperwork. What we do is we connect with your doctor to get a medical review. Katie will review that and then meet with you guys just to do our own little review, see what your needs are, what your concerns are. That way we know a little bit about you. We've got everything on file, so in case you need to go to the hospital or something happens, we've got your face sheet ready to go with all your information. A tier of service. So for our independent living apartments, we offer a tier of service. We are able to do that because those independent living apartments are duly licensed, so we can provide care there. A tier of service can be a couple different things. Usually people get on that for medication management. That way we deal with all the refills and scripts and do all of that for you. Or if you just, you're in independent living apartments and you need a little bit more assistance. Let's say you're working through an injury or something and you just need help bathing a couple times a week or something like that. So we can do that for you. In the residential homes, those are not licensed, so we cannot provide direct care, but if you have a fall in the residential homes, give us a call. We can, bandage you up. So something quick and temporary we are able to do. That leads me into, I guess, another train of thought is what happens if you do fall or have a concern? You can call Katie herself. Her number is everywhere. So we'll make sure you have that. We've even got a little magnet for you. And if she's unavailable, our nurse in the assisted living comes out. So we actually have golf carts on the campus and they can get to you. If you're unable to call, the pendants that Rick had talked about, so some people like them as a watch, some people has them as a necklace, you can hit that pendant and we will know that you are in your home and you need help. So what happens when you hit that pendant is we're going to give you a call. Now, if you say, oh, that was an accident, you answer the phone, nothing. If you don't answer, we're coming. So whoever's quickest that can get to you the fastest. Sometimes maintenance can jump out there for us and wait and see the situation and then tag our assisted living team for the nursing side of things. So we just want to make sure you guys feel supported, safe, and secure. That is essential to us. Yes, sir?
Rick said that those pendants are good across campus, so
Yes.
how do you know the person's at home?
Oh, that's a good question. So for the pendants, when you hit them, it'll tell us on the radio. We have a system, and it will say the unit. So let's say it's apartment 155, and then it'll say observed at. So on the radio, it will tell us that you are not in your home. Like let's say you hit it in the chapel. We will know you're in the chapel. Very good question. Thank you. Let's see. Oh, how do you support and serve the residents? Katie does it all. I mean, she just goes above and beyond in every way. She cares about you guys, worries about you on the weekends and nights. If there's something going on and you want to kind of work through it with us, we are here for you. We get creative, which is wonderful. We talked about the so if you just have another emergency, like trouble breathing or chest pains or something like that, you can absolutely call 911 And then some people will call for something serious like a chest pain. They will call 911 and then hit their pendant to let us know. And that way we can come out and make sure that EMS has everything they need, that you feel secure, have everything you need, and let us know. Now, for some people that, maybe in the moment they had a fall, it wasn't serious, you picked yourself back up slowly, then we would love for you to let us know, just so that we can, connect with you and make sure that you are okay and there's not delayed injury, or, sometimes there's a couple falls in a day, which is a little bit of a flag. Then we wonder, were there any medication changes? Then we'll kind of start looking at you as a whole picture, and see what was different and try to figure out how we can keep you safe and make sure that you've got everything you need. The transition process, that was a good question. I can kind of speak a little bit more to that. So we try to make that as a collaborative team effort. So hopefully, if you're in residential living and you're thinking about transitioning straight into assisted living, of course, availability is going to be one thing, but we do move our residents in. You get preference, and then we'll make sure that if there's an urgency there, we will take care of you and work on that. So you will have internal preference into our assisted living over the outside. So currently, we actually are only working with our internal residents for the assisted living because the availability is so low. So then we're working on an urgent basis for that. But we try to keep the conversations open. Some people will kind of let us know when they move in, hey, when I get to this point, this is when I would like to go to assisted living. And we'll absolutely honor that. We've got a couple residents that are saying, oh, I want to wait a year and then I would like to move in. So we keep you on an internal wait list in the back of our minds, and just kind of make sure that we keep checking in with you. They'll check in with us to let us know. The transitions team is representative of a lot of different people on campus. So myself, I oversee it. Katie's a part of it. Our chaplain, Etta. Rick will come oftentimes. We've got our sales and marketing team that's on there as well, so they know what's coming down the pipeline. We've got people from all different areas just to make sure that you have everything you need. Let's see. Oh, flu shots. That's a good question. We do COVID and flu shots. We'll have clinics coming up pretty soon. We were waiting on the updated COVID variant that I believe just got released. So we'll be getting those out. We educate everybody, let them know. Of course, you're welcome to go to CVS or Publix if you're out, and then we ask that you let us know that you got that shot so we can put it in your record and keep that updated. So the weekly transition meetings, that's what we had kind of touched on. That's where all of us kind of get together if people are in the hospital or if our residents are in rehab. So if somebody in the residential living homes has a fall and is in our rehab, then we make sure to keep track of them and make sure that they have a good transition process. We check on how they're doing at therapy and just making those gains and come up with a plan for when they get discharged. Let's see. Oh, who decides when I need to consider a move to assisted living? So of course that, again, is a conversation that we like to keep open. We have so many residents that would love to show off their assisted living apartments. We've thought about doing a parade of homes just so you guys can see it. We encourage everybody on campus and every level of living to get involved with other groups just so you get to know other people. We have incredible residents here. I use on social media a hashtag Lakeland Legends, and I mean that with every word. We've got some incredible people, and we wouldn't want you to miss out just because you want to stay in one little area. We offer a lot of fantastic activities and events like the Western dinner that's coming up, so it's a really good chance to get to know everybody, and you'll probably see, if you're local, you'll probably see people you know. Rick covered who pays for the move when I graduate to assisted living. So FPH covers if you are moving to a higher level of care, we will cover the move. And he addressed that. So that would be the same like for independent to assisted, any level of living where you're getting more care, we will cover that for you. Let's see. Oh, can my long-term care policy be used in an assisted living? Yes. So I've worked personally with some residents on John Hancock and Genworth policies. So we make sure that you're not alone for that. Those are pretty serious processes, but we are well educated in helping that happen. So we can help you with the paperwork, we can help you coordinate the nurse care, and just make sure you have everything you need to activate those policies. So we can absolutely help with that. Assisted living and supportive care. So within our assisted living, we have the first floor that is what we call supportive care. So we do not have a secured memory unit on campus for assisted living. What we have is supportive care. So those are just people that need a little extra. We have a staff member on that floor at all times, 24/7. And she is designated just for those residents. So whether that means that they've got just a couple cognitive conditions that we need to keep an eye on and make sure that they're safe and healthy, or if there's a little bit more physically that we need to do. It's just for people that really need that little extra love. It is a very fun floor. A lot of the times I'll just bring my laptop and work down there because it's just, everybody is so kind and it's just such a warm environment. And as you guys know from the working world, it gets lonely in an office after a while. So it's a really, really great place to be. And of course, we have the exercise classes and different activities there. And our residents get to go to everything, which is wonderful. Oh, here we go. How many nurses are assigned to each resident in assisted living? So right now we have 2 nurses during the day shift. And then we have 3 med tech CNAs. So something that we like to do is not just have a CNA, we do make sure that they have that med tech credentialing so that it's not such a burden and we can really take on a lot more with medication management. So that is just a really big help to the nurse. That way we don't tie up our nurse with just passing meds, and then she or he can be freed up to help as needed if there's a fall in the community or residents have very specific needs. Yes, ma'am.
What is your turnover like on your staff? Have you been having shortages like so many other places?
That is a great question. So her question was, what is our turnover with staff in assisted living? We have an incredible retention in assisted living. We have had some really tenured staff. I mean, you talked to a couple earlier, but we've had some that are here 15 plus years. We are doing very well in assisted living. We welcome new team members and expanded our area to cover more. So that's when we had added on, but typically we like to keep a very high retention. I don't know the percentage now, but I know in assisted living we really don't experience too much turnover. I'm gonna knock on wood. But we are very, very fortunate to have a strong, beautiful, positive team. So we did have shortages and we have agency every now and then. What we do in assisted living is we actually have 2 people that we call on for agency if it's needed, like a call off or a holiday or something like that. So it is a familiar face for our residents, so we try to keep that consistency if we do have to use agency. Yes, ma'am. What if somebody gets Alzheimer's? That is a good question. So Alzheimer's looks different in different people. So we will work with that diagnosis and kind of see what the needs are of that person. We do not have a secured memory unit, but if we can absolutely accommodate based on that person's needs, they will likely go to the supportive care floor where they can just have more oversight. So it really does get based off of their needs. We can handle quite a bit. We have a lot of residents with Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, different things like that, Lewy body. So we try to work with them and just look at the individual and see what can we do to make sure that they're healthy and safe. So if they need that, then we would recommend a community outside of Florida Presbyterian Homes at this time. So with an upcoming affiliation, this is something that may be subject to change. It was a project that I initially started working on when I started, was to move forward, getting that secured memory care unit. And I do believe it's something that Westminster will be considering, as we were, just to be able to meet the needs better. Oh, hello there, yes. So she asked what happens when they need nursing home care. So we always reserve a couple rooms in our long-term care for residents. We always have those available because you guys absolutely get first preference over anyone. So in that case, it would be the same. Since you're going to a higher level of care, we would cover that move. It would be discussed in transitions with everybody. It would be discussed with you, any of your important, influential people in your lives, and it would be a team decision, team meaning you and us. So we would work on that. The move would be covered, and we would, make sure you find your spot and have something you're happy with. Did you have another one? Oh, yes. Sure.
First one would be, you're a couple, you're in a home.
Mm-hmm.
And the car's not working and you don't have a golf cart. You gotta get to the meals.
Mm-hmm.
You have to walk.
Oh, that's a good one. So the question was, and I'm sorry if I repeat the questions, that's what residents usually prefer that I do to make sure everybody hears it. So the question was, you live in a residential home, your car broke down, you don't have a golf cart, how do you get to meals? Let us know. Give us a call. We've got a bunch of carts. All of us are always willing to pitch in. And so let us know and we'll take you right over. Yeah. Hmm? We do allow golf carts. Yes, sir. Right? Yes. Yes, we do. And I like them even better if they're decorated.
Electric and gas? Okay.
Electric and gas.
Second question would be, if you're a couple, you're in a home, one of the homes, and one of the spouses needs assisted living or skilled nursing,
Mm-hmm.
how's that handled as far as what you have to pay?
So this is something that we have just been in for this year. So he asked, when there's a residential couple in a home, one needs a higher level of care and one does not. What happens? Who pays? What do we do? This is something that's so individualized. We really try to make sure, work with the family, talk about all the options of the different pricing. So what I've seen a couple times is if we can, let's say that there's a couple, there's a little bit of a higher need, maybe there's medication management and a couple activities of daily living they need support with, then at that time we might recommend an independent living apartment for the couple and add a tier of service for the person that needs a little bit more assistance. Or if the couple would like to move into assisted living, we've got a beautiful apartment for them ready to go and they both prefer to move to assisted living, we can accommodate that. So really, we try to get creative, think about all the options, what we've got with availability, the need, the urgency, and just try to make it work for you. So I can't say that we have a cookie cutter, like if this happens, then this. We really try to look at the individual as a team and see what their preferences are, how it matches their budget, what's best for them. So I don't have a very specific answer for that.
So it could be, depending on the situation,
Mm-hmm.
you could have 2 fees.
Correct. So there might be 2 fees if they decide, if one of them, they want to keep the house and the other spouse needs skilled nursing, then that would be 2 fees there. And we would go over all the pricing. We are very transparent with that. Very good questions. Thank you. I feel like I remember more hands there.
Does anyone kind of go over the financial aspects of what it takes to actually get in here? I mean, is the house a separate real estate transaction plus the life care buy-in? Or is that all together? How does that work?
So Cher will cover all of the financials, talking about a life occupancy, a monthly service fee. She will go over all of that with you guys, and she is much more well-versed than me. I'm a gerontologist, so I kind of stay on my side of things. Very good questions. Yes, ma'am.
You made some reference from Presbyterian to Wesleyan.
Westminster, yeah.
What are you talking
What's going on? Yes. Well, good segue, because that was my next topic. Thank you, Mary Lou. So what is going on with us is pretty exciting, actually. So we are right now under a short-term management contract with the intention of affiliation with a community called Westminster. They are a Florida-based community. They have, I think, 12 CCRC type communities, so communities that look like ours, where we have residential living, independent, everything all the way to skilled nursing. So an affiliation with them is in the works right now. What that means for us is that we will have just a bigger network of support. They will be helping just keep us as beautiful and give us that long-term vision and growth that we so desperately wanted. What is really unique about Westminster is that they started a year before us. So we were founded around the same time, and they moved forward with a model of growth and acquisition, and we just kind of stayed here and just preserved ourselves as is for a little while. So we are just really thrilled to be working with them and just moving forward to support the staff and the residents. So this is an amazing, amazing partnership. Their goals look just like ours. They look very similar to us, actually. When we even looked at the mission statements and everything, I was part of a team that reviewed a lot of the paperwork coming in. They look just like us. It's just they had that focus on acquisition, so they were able to grow. So it'll give FPH that extra support system and just congruency. So we're really excited for that. So we don't have any specific changes right now, but as we move forward, you guys will kind of see we've just discussed like updating websites to be a part of their family. So we're just joining a new family. So we're very excited. Yes, sir. So they are a nonprofit. So in the nonprofit world, it's not quite like the for-profit world where you have an acquisition and there's no money exchanging hands here. It's more that they're affiliating. So we're just kind of joining their family. There's not like a purchase happening or anything like that. It's more like, okay, we've welcomed you into our family and now we're all married. Who's responsible for management? Westminster will be. What is the advantage of the merger? The support. So they have a lot of tools just from a staff perspective, they have a lot of tools, but from a residential perspective, they have the same goals that we did as well for master site planning. So they have the capabilities of growth. They have internal teams for pharmacy and marketing and things like that. So the affiliation just is really exciting in so many different avenues. Anything you can kind of think of, we're ready for them. Yeah, it's just going to be wonderful support, but we're really hoping with the master site plan that we'll get to see some new dining venues and we'll just get to see some upgrades and just a little extra love and attention that we weren't able to do on our own, but now we will be able to do with that affiliation. Yes, sir. Do I know how finances will be affected? The prices. So I don't know that at this time. This is very fresh information now. So they'll work on it, but I can speak from kind of a legal sense is that any price increases or anything has to be communicated to you guys with a 60-day notice. So that's something that would always happen, but we don't have any information on that quite yet. Mary Lou, did you have anything for me? Are you absorbing? You lost it? Well, if it comes back, just. Sometimes I have to leave a room and come back in, and then it gets you. Let me see what other questions we had over here while you guys think. Tell us about the rehab department and how they create a bridge back to our home. So Allison did talk about that a little bit. Right now we work with a therapy management company that she had discussed, and they work with us when you guys, if you go to rehab, they work directly with us. They're a part of that transition team that says, hey, they can go back to their apartment, but they're gonna need some grab bars or some other, and they'll check out your homes, make sure it's safe, and kind of help us with those assessments and recommendations. So the therapy department operates as if they were our team. They love you guys just as much as we do, and we just make sure that everybody has everything they need. So it's a really, really good partnership there. Oh, this one might interest you guys. How many days can we be in rehab with Medicare payment? So Medicare authorizes 100 days of rehab. We try not to burn all of those 100 days at once, just in case you need some down the road. So there is a 60-day wellness period. So that's when you don't go to the hospital after you get discharged from rehab for 60 days, just your regular doctor appointments. Katie will be happy to do a separate presentation about the Medicare benefit. So that is Katie's expertise there. Yes, ma'am.
If you partner with Westminster and you live here,
Mm-hmm.
and you wanted to move to one of their other facilities to be closer to family, would you be eligible to do that?
Oh, that's a really good, that's the first time I've heard that question. So the question was, now that we're affiliated with Westminster, could you transition to one of their other communities and receive preference? If you've got family that live up there, they've got a really nice community in St. Pete, for example. So if you wanted to live the beach life, we're not quite sure about that detail yet, but that is what I've been familiar with in other communities and other systems like this. I have seen things like that for internal transitions, so I can't give a final answer, but my assumption would be yes.
I found it again.
Oh, good. What you got for me?
Are the Westminsters already in the area, or are they far away?
So they are all local to Florida. We don't have any. We're going to be the first one in Polk County and in Lakeland, and of course, for any Lakeland natives or Polk County natives, they have been looking at this area for a long time because we are on quite a few lists of the top places to retire, top places to live. Lakeland is hot right now, so we are very happy to be here, and they're excited to be with us. Yeah. Very good question. Are there any other questions that anybody came back with? Let me check one more time. Let's see that I got everything for you. We did the storm prep. Is there anything, Cher, that you wanted me to cover that I didn't?
I don't think so.
Okay. Thank you guys. Oh, yes, Lance. I can try.
If you move in and you pay your fee for the continuing care,
Mm-hmm.
and a year or two down the road, you say, this just isn't for me, any part of that refund?
Very good question. It's like you work with us. My goodness. So his question was the life occupancy. If you move in and then something happens a year down the road and you need to go to a different facility and leave Florida Presbyterian Homes, would you recover any of that life occupancy back? So the answer is yes. I think it's under 5 years that there's
5 years for the houses, 3 years for the apartments. It's a cancellation policy that's part of our contract. Correct.
a prorated refund is the response to that. And then for the houses, it's 5 years. And then for the independent living apartments, it's 3 years. So that'll be a prorated amount at that time. Very good question. We're going to have you at all the events. It really guided our conversation very well. Thank you. All right, I'll hand it over to Ms. Cher. You guys could not be in better hands. Thank you very much for being here. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your afternoon and air-conditioned bus ride. Thank you.
Thank you, Tasha. Can you hear me? Is microphone working?
Now, yes? We're going to leave and go get on the bus shortly, but I'm just going to tell you a little bit about our program and how our residents join us. In answer to the question about the financial part of moving here, in the brochures we gave you are questions and answers and also cost comparisons, which include buy-in numbers for different homes or duplexes or triplexes or apartments. We have 116 homes here, so lots of different floor plans and lots of different life occupancy fees, and those are based on the square footage, the location, and the footprint of the home. And that cost comparison sheet in your brochure will kind of show you some different pricing. When we're out on the bus, you'll see the difference. Allison's duplex, the House of Allison that we're going to, is one of the least expensive duplexes on the property. And then we have some beautiful homes, even a new home that was built last year, that are up in the 280, maybe even $310,000 life occupancy fees. So we've got a lot of different price points and a lot of different choices in homes. The best way to learn about us is to make an appointment for a personal tour, because we don't want you to just know about us. We want to know about you. And it's kind of like when we hear what's important to you, we can help you decide something that you might want to consider. We do work off of a waiting list. We have 53 people on the waiting list right now, and that does not mean that you have to wait for 53 people to move in. This year, so far, we have already moved in 23 households, people. And so a lot of the people on the waiting list who were ready to move and who wanted to make a move have already been accommodated. That means once in a while, we'll get a house that falls off the waiting list. And when it falls off the waiting list, that means if you're touring with us and you're meeting with us and you're ready to tour, then we may offer you that home. And if we offer you a home, it looks like this. Whether we're calling you on the waiting list or whether we're on a tour and we have something available for you to consider right away, I like to say, if this is something you'd like to consider, today's Tuesday. Do you think you could make a decision by next Tuesday if this is the right home for you? And we give you a little time to think about that home, think about that floor plan. Bring your friends after church and look at it again. We can let you in anytime during the weekends. Security helps us accommodate our prospective residents to see the home and think about it. I had one couple who came after Sunday school, and we had 2 tables and chairs set up, and they had a pizza party with their Sunday school class, and they decided if they thought that would be the right home for them. When I call someone from the waiting list, I give them a choice if they would like to come and look at it. If they don't want to see that one, the information they give me back becomes part of their file. So next to their name on the waiting list, it might say, "Don't call us, we'll call you." It might say, "I only want the biggest and the best and on the water." It might be like one of our residents, and it may say, "I'm a master gardener. I want to recreate a beautiful yard and beautiful privacy, just like I have at my home over on Lake Morton. And until you find a home for me where I can achieve all of those things, I'm not going to consider it." We moved a couple in last year around Christmas time. I had offered them 9 homes in 9 years. So I hear a lot of no's, and I hear a lot of maybes, and then I hear a lot of, "Gosh, we don't want to leave our home, and we hate to leave our home, and we love our home." But maybe a little blip on the radar makes them think that perhaps it would be better to have a backup plan in case they have failing health or in case they need assistance. And maybe they're just tired of taking care of their home and the expenses associated with it. So we don't have time today to go over all of the details about the homes and the purchase and all of that, but we're happy, Susan and I are both happy to answer any of your questions today. We can make appointments for tours in the future if you would like, and we can answer more questions. And when we're out in the bus, and John's going to pick us up in just a few minutes, when we're out in the bus, as we go into the home and as we go around the property, we can answer questions too.
Share a quick question.
Sure.
Let's say we find the home of our dreams. What assurance do we have that you won't demolish it?
Well, if your name's Charlie, we're probably going to demolish it. That was really a fluke. I'll tell you one of the most interesting conversations I had a couple of years ago. I had a gentleman walk in and he said, "I'll tell you what I want to do. And this is what I want to do." He was in his 90s then, I think 91. "Why don't you just let me build my own home, design my own home, and build my own home on one of your parcels, and I'll use the money I use to build that home as a donation, which will become my life occupancy fee." And then he gave me this sly little grin. Well, he's a Libra and I'm a Libra, and we were born the same day but not the same year. And I said to him, "Let's talk about it." Because we had a home that we needed to take down on Lake Hunter. And we needed to take it down because all of the termites in that home were holding hands, and if they let go, the house was going to go too. So we went in the house, And the city of Lakeland said, you can't take this house down because it's a airplane bungalow house and it's a very famous floor plan. Well, we finally met with them enough, and we finally got permission to take it down. And this resident was able to build his home of his dreams, and it was drawn by our resident, John Curtis, who is an architect, who still works, who still lives here. And yes, we have residents here who still work. And yes, we have residents here who are 100 who still drive. And we have residents in assisted living who still drive. So you don't have to be retired, and you don't have to stop driving, and you don't have to have health factors to move here. I always say, if you want to get ready and move, sometimes it's easier than getting ready to get ready to get ready, and then trying to figure it out when there's an emergency. When we get a phone call and someone says, gosh, Dad just had a stroke, we need assisted living. Susan, can you help me today? Can you find me an assisted living home, apartment? And our answer, Susan and I are normally going to say, no, we're sorry. Our assisted living rooms are reserved for our existing residents to graduate into. And that transitions meeting that Tasha spoke about, Susan and I are in that transitions meeting every Tuesday, and we talk about every resident on this property who may need our attention and how can we assist them, and when can we move them, where can they move, and how can we assist them. And that Susan is the queen of transfers. She's busy transferring everybody, helping make the plans to get everybody where they need to be, and then having them sign the release on their home so that we can get in there, get it inspected, and proceed. So I can just answer a couple of questions, and then we're going to have John pick us up down in the dining room in about 10 minutes. So Susan, if you would text John and tell him 10 minutes at the dining room door, that would be great. Questions? You do come in into independent living. Only a couple, maybe 4 or 5 times in the 10 years I've been here have we been able to do a direct admission to assisted living. We have those rooms reserved for our existing residents in most cases. If they get one too many room and they want to have someone do a direct admission, they will tell Susan and I, okay, you can do a direct admission to this particular apartment. The door is open today, because we always know how many rooms we need to have ready for our residents. And we always have emergency rooms. So if somebody has an emergency and they need to go to assisted living, it might not be their ideal apartment, but it would be something that we could move them to in case of an emergency, and then we could transfer them to a different floor plan. We've got lots of choices here. Another thing that was not touched on today, and there's not information in your brochure about it, I don't believe, is we have a loving care fund. And when someone comes here, they fill out an application and ask a lot of questions about their finances. And it asks their age, and our CFO determines whether this is that applicant's best plan. Is this their best financial plan to live here? How long will they be here? How long will they be in independent living? How long will they be in assisted living? And if their application is approved based on the documents and the qualifications that they give us on that application, if they outlive their finances, we have between $6 and $8 million in the Loving Care Fund. Those monies were donated and earmarked for our residents who outlive their finances, and they can apply for an allowance to assist them. So the question you ask about, what if I need assisted living and my wife's going to stay in the home and I'm paying 2 amounts, we factor that information in when the application's approved. So if you live to be 105 and you've been in assisted living for several years and your finances are running low because, gosh, you've needed all that care, you apply for assistance from the CFO. They look at the application. They confirm the funds that you had when you came here and how they could have been spent down based on our program. And then they can give you an allowance because our residents move here to be here the rest of their lives. And another question that was asked, someone said, what if I need lockdown, and what if you don't have lockdown? Westminster may change all of this, but in the 10 years I've been here, I think I only recall 4 times that we were not able to assist someone due to their medical problems. One was a lady whose family decided to move them to Winter Haven, and she definitely did need to be in a lockdown facility, which we did not have our training for, and we didn't do the lockdown. Another couple needed to move to Valrico. The son was there, and the nature of their illness was violence. Wasn't them, it was the nature of their illness, and the son moved them close by to a lockdown facility. And there was one more, and I can't remember the details about that one, but it's very rare. We have many residents here with memory issues. We care for many of them, and that's one of the things that transition meeting is about. We know a lot about these residents. They're always in touch with Katie. I'm sorry you didn't meet her today. She's delightful. We're so lucky that she's here. And Katie has even texted me on a Sunday and said, well, I'm in Orlando because a resident got in the car and they wanted to go to the Lakeland Mall and they ended up in Orlando and I'm here to help. So her heart is huge and she's there and keeping an eye on the residents, and that's what part of that transition meeting is. So now that we got about another 5 minutes.
Okay, you move in, you've been approved, you have to be approved medically and financially.
You do. You sign a release of medical information.
And let's say you pay your deposit, and it's 5 years down the road, I'm assuming you probably have to have an update on those two issues.
At this time, we do an update on the financial applications. I'm not sure how Westminster is going to tend to that. That's a whole new question. Let me tell you how fresh the Westminster Association is.
Sure.
You move in, you're heavily invested in the stock market, and it blows up, which it always does. It might take 15 years to ever recover. You're still okay if you lose it, you're going to have
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But if I gave it all, gave my money to my kids during that period of time, I'm assuming it's not going to work.
You are right. And would you like to work in the sales department with us? I always say, if your application is great and your finances are great and we're predicting your success financially, if you don't go out and buy 2 Lamborghinis and give your house to the kids, then, I mean, they do look at that on your application. That's important information. So, and yes, we get that medical report, and our new residents sit with Katie Gannon in my office, and she goes over their medical report, talks about any diagnosis that they may have, any concern that they may have, and answers any of their questions. And Katie is the final word. She's the one that says, yes, they're going to succeed medically. I release them to become a resident. I have only had a couple of cases where I thought they could move in and I thought their medical was good. One was years ago, somebody needed medication management, and the director of nursing at that time did not present the possibility of a tier of service for medication management, but we do that now. And another time we had a couple. Sometimes couples balance one another out. You know, he can't drive so good and he gets lost, but she can give directions and they can get to where they need to be and that kind of thing. And the couples balance one another out, and we see that quite often. But we did have a couple where he needed to get up and he needed to use a walker and he was having a hard time getting around, and she could help him a lot, but he couldn't get up to his walker, so she would pull him up, and that just was not going to work if she had a medical emergency, so it wasn't their best plan to move here. But the financial application, the medical application, and all the steps we go through before someone moves in are very important. If you pick out a house and you're ready to move in, there's a whole conversation about, first you fill out your application, then you get your medical report, then we have your closing one, then you pick out your paint colors, then you pick out your flooring, and that's a good day to put your house on the market, put your house up for sale. The day you have closing one medical review, you pay 10% down of the life occupancy fee of the home you're moving into. And I've been saying the same thing for 10 years. I say, okay, you've signed your contract we've got your 10%. Now you can tell someone you want to sell your house, and that person who signed that contract will turn around and look at me and they will say, don't get in a hurry because I have to sell my house. And I say to them, the next time you see me or call me, you're going to be texting me at midnight and say, whoops, I got a buyer, get it done. And that has been happening for 10 years. 2 times in 10 years, someone was unable to sell their home. One gentleman had a big RV at Ashton Lakes, big RV garage house. Beautiful house, he couldn't get it sold. He had done the 10% down, he had done the contract signing, could not sell that home. We gave him back his 10% and he dropped back into waiting list mode. Another time, a lady had her house listed at $100,000 more than it should have been. The next door neighbor house had a new kitchen, a new bathroom, a new pool, and she was insistent that she could get $100,000 more than that neighbor. The realtor finally talked her into saying, hey, let's get this together, and she finally lowered the price, and she finally got moved in. So we're going to go down and catch the bus. Susan's going to help us. We've got a restroom here, a restroom down by the dining room if you want a restroom break. We're going to get everybody in the bus, and we're going to go see the house of Allison and the rest of the property, and then we'll go to lunch, okay?